Ladies and gentlemen, the last one that we'll be doing tonight is actually my senatorial district, Senate District 17. I am term limited after 12 years. I have not endorsed anybody in this race, which means I can be mean to both sides at all the times I wish and have as much fun as I wish because, well, why not? That being said, we will go ahead and begin this. Within the card draw, I believe Mr. Wheeler won the rights for the introduction to go first. Mr. Wheeler.
Thank you, Senator. I think most of you in this room know me. I'm not going to sit here and give you a long resume. You know that I care about this county. I care about this district. I have fought for you for 10 years. I will continue to fight for you. You know I don't lay down. You know I don't shut up. Sometimes I probably should, but I don't. And I am here for you, not for any other reason. I will never, ever bend my values because they're the values that you gave me. And I'm not even going to take the full minute. Thank you.
Jim, they're asking in the back if you can be closer to the microphone. They can't really hear you. Apologies for interrupting.
Okay, next time we'll make sure you get a little bit closer to the microphone. Sorry about that. Titus, Robin?
Well, thank you, sir. First off, thank you all for being here tonight and to actually stay for this last debate. The fact that you are civically engaged is so impressive. We've been to a lot of events, and frequently there's more candidates there than there are constituents. And to look out on this crowd is so impressed because we've never before seen our country more moving to the left than we have right now. And it's critical that the citizens stay engaged. I've committed to run a positive policy-centered primary because we can't fight amongst ourselves. The Democrats will steal this election if we do that. We have to ride this red wave. Having said that, we have to get along. So I'm happy to be here for your questions. I'm happy to have a spirited debate. And at the end, I hope to earn your vote. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to the questions. Question number one. Starting out with Assemblywoman. A bleak outlook by voters on the Nevada economy is a chief cause of voter discontent. More than 7 in 10 people, 72%, rated economic conditions in Nevada as fair or poor. What are your priorities for the economy and inflation?
Thank you for the question. So we've all lived through, most of us here in this valley, and I live over in Smith Valley, lived through the Great Recession of 2008. At that time, our governor Governor Gibbons, who I believe was our last conservative Republican governor, he formed something called the SAGE Commission. And the SAGE Commission was a spending and government efficiency commission. There was 44 recommendations, very few got started. I think we as a state need to look at what we're spending on, how our government has expanded, because we're not going to be able to afford to continue to spend like we do now when the rest of us have had to cut back because of inflation. Thank you.
Assemblyman.
Thank you, Senator. Well, I agree that the state does spend ridiculous amounts of money on programs that they try to put into perpetuity and will never be able to be sustainable. So obviously we have to look at that, but we have to look at more than that. We also need to look at the free market advantages that we have in this country. We need to open those up, quit the regulations, et cetera, create competition so that prices come down because competition drives prices down. We also need to look right now, since the federal government has messed up our gas prices so bad, we need to be able to look at suspending the state tax, at least to a certain extent, to get through some of this until the federal government basically gets off their butt and does it right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to question number two. As you both know, we had an unconstitutional tax increase go through the legislature. Not only was it based upon modified business tax, it also is based upon your technology fee at the DMV. And you all go there right now, and it's kind of crazy. They're actually giving back dollar bills because of what we did. So it's kind of funny. I appreciate both of you voting no on that. I took on the lawsuit. You can read it, Settlemyer versus all. That's literally what it's referred to. It's kind of funny because we sued the entire legislature due to that. It is the only case. So anytime you hear these candidates out there saying that they're running for X, Y, and Z and they battled the governor and won, sorry, they didn't. There's only one case that's been proven unconstitutional at the Supreme Court level, mine. That being said, both of you voted no. There are people in this room that I look at right now, and I'm very grateful to, who gave me donations against that lawsuit. That being said, why didn't you donate to that lawsuit? Assemblyman?
Simple. I thought the lawsuit was great, I really did. And it was the businesses of Nevada that were going to benefit from that lawsuit on the modified business tax. So I felt they should step up and help. I did not personally, donate to it because I knew I had a very, very tough Senate race coming up, and I was going to need every single penny to go through this Senate race. And I also knew that they had a pretty good lawyer, and they were probably going to win because it was definitely unconstitutional.
Assemblywoman?
Thank you, Senator Settermeyer, and thank you for bringing that forward, and thank you for the success. I didn't donate to it. What I did with my campaign finances wasn't worried about my race that I'm coming up with now. What I did was donate my money because I was a minority leader, and it was my job to help get assembly people elected in that campaign cycle. And to that end, my monies went to picking up 3 seats.
With that, we'll move on to the next question, which Ms. Titus will be first. Assemblywoman, please list the top 3 bills that you were the main primary sponsor of that passed.
Well, one of the things that's really important is a water bill that I was a main sponsor on in Douglas County. It was brought forward by the TCID, which is the Truckee Churchill Irrigation District, where farmers could move their water from one spot to the other spot and didn't have to be contiguous. That was a critical bill for farmers to use their water in maximum situations. I also put a bill in for law enforcement officers so that when they retired, they did not have to list where they live to protect the identity of their families. And finally, a bill I put in changed the lives of many of my patients and access to care, because all of you see who can get into a doctor anymore. You went and you saw your nurse practitioners or your physician assistants, and I allowed them to practice at their maximum capacity. Finally got that bill passed after pushing for it for 4 sessions.
Assemblyman?
Thank you, Senator. There was I believe it was AB 140 that I put in that would make sure that our veterans who are on disability could not have their disability checks attached in any way in a civil lawsuit that would create harm to that veteran. What we saw was a whole lot of people, I would say unscrupulous lawyers, that were coming after our veterans because they knew they had a monthly check coming in. And it actually took 2 sessions to get that through, and I got it through. Another bill I put through was, God, I forget, AB 128, I think it was, that guaranteed the Second Amendment rights, not just of us, but of our children, where they could go to school and wear a T-shirt that said NRA, or not get arrested on the street for playing with a plastic gun. And I believe that, because I believe in total freedom, I believe that our kids, sorry. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to an audience question. This one comes down to the concept of, and I'll have to explain it a little bit because it talks about prior appropriation of water, priority water law. And that's how Nevada exists. It exists on the basis of when did you put your water into rights, into utilization, into benefit. There are many people, though, that believe that the water exists for the whole of the state of Nevada, and they believe in mob rule, and they want to change that. And there are some discussions about that. Where do you stand on that? Please explain. And I believe that starts off with Assemblyman Wheeler.
Hey, thank you, James. I believe what you're talking about is vested water rights. And families like yours, for instance, like the Parks, et cetera, when they started building their ranches, they had these water rights. Now, for someone else to come in and take those water rights and say it's really for the entire state of Nevada is ridiculous. These are the investments they made. This water is not just natural, but it is needed badly to raise James's cattle or the Parks cattle. Oops, sorry. God, those are some
audience questions. They're 30 seconds. So, with that, Assemblywoman.
Well, thank you. We know that first in line and first in time concept, and it's been going on for a long time. We've been fighting over that. Having a ranch that I had in Smith Valley, I know what it's like to try to get that last little drop of water running down that field to make sure my field was fully irrigated. The problem is this is a hungry state for water. As you may have read, Clark County put in that 3rd straw on Lake Mead. That 3rd straw means Lake Mead is falling down below its level of the 2 previous intake that they have in southern Nevada. They're going to be looking for other ways to get water. This is a very difficult situation. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to the last audience question. we'll go with this one. How would you respond if you were asked to rank the 3 most important industries in Nevada today and in the future? Assemblywoman?
Well, certainly they would say the people that bring in the major taxes are the ones that they feel are the most important. That would be gaming, mining, and then the tourism industry. Those are our 3 main revenue sources. I feel it's the small businesses that are the most important thing in our state, and they're the ones that have been most affected in the last 2 years by this governor.
Thank you. Assemblyman?
Actually, the 3 largest tax producers in the state are gaming/tourism, agriculture, and mining. I'm sorry, mining is second, agriculture is third. But we must diversify our economy. We started that in 2015 when the Republicans were in charge. We started giving some incentives. We started working our way into new businesses, and it worked. And it worked up here in the north, and we worked hard on it. So I hope that you'll send us back and let us do it again.
Thank you for that. Just for everybody, for the Speed Jeopardy round, the answer actually was gaming is the #1, then retail, then mining. I wish agriculture was higher. When you get $20 steaks at the store, I'm still getting the same price I was last year, just so everybody knows. Not fun. With that, we'll now go to closing remarks. With that, I believe Dr. Titus is first this time. Assemblywoman?
Thank you. First off, thank you for all being here. Thank you for still being awake. That's important. If you haven't noticed, I love rural Nevada. It's my heritage, it's our way of life, and it's in my blood. In fact, that's the reason I'm running for Senate, to make rural Nevada the best place in America to live, work, and raise a family. My great-grandfather came to Nevada in 1866 to try his hand at mining, then moved to Smith Valley in 1888. I went to school there, went to high school there, went to UNR as an undergrad, and then medical school at the University of Nevada. My entire career, I've been a Nevada rural family practice doctor, delivering babies, serving patients through pre- and postnatal care, director of long-term medical care, EMS medical director. I understand the healthcare needs of Nevada, but not only Nevada, I understand the healthcare needs of Senate District 17. In my 4 terms in the Assembly, I've been voted the most conservative legislative member, but I also have gotten things done. I got 5 bills passed my first session, 5 my second, 8 my third, and 10 my last one. I've received a top score from the American Conservative Union. I'm an A+ rated NRA member, proud CCW holder, although I'm not packing right now. I back the blue. I'm married to retired Sheriff Alan Vail of Lyon County. I stand up for law enforcement, military, and veterans. I'm proudly endorsed by the Senate Republican Caucus and the Nevada GOP and the Nevada Police Union. I worked with Senator Settlemeyer as minority leader in the Assembly and his role in the Senate, trying to block the best we could this governor.
And that is time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now to Assemblyman Wheeler.
Thank you, Senator. I'm not going to stand up here and give you a resume. I'm just not going to do it. You guys know me. What I am going to say is I'd like you to remember what happened during the lockdown. When I saw a bunch of you people up at the Capitol protesting the shutdowns, asking the governor why they were doing things, it was me that saw you because I was there. I was with you to fight. So you know I'm going to fight. My endorsements are all from absolute conservative champions, such as Sheriff Dan Coverly, the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, PPA, Washoe County Sheriff's Association. I've also received the endorsement as chairman of the Nevada Freedom Caucus from Chairman Congressman Andy Biggs from the National Freedom Caucus. I've also received the endorsement of a conservative champion, Senator Cruz. So you know where I'm coming from and you know where I'm going. I don't do this for me. I do this for the one thing I have always said since the day I started, and that is I will always do what my constituents want, regardless of what I want, regardless of what my colleagues want, regardless of what a special interest wants. I will always do what you want. You've seen it for 10 years, and I hope you'll vote for me again. Thank you.
Thank you both for your time this evening. I know you're both going to stay around and visit with the community after this debate. With that, I'm going to ask Bobby to come back up so we can do our closing remarks. And even though not one of the candidates tonight bothered to mention they have a website, where you could go and learn more information. I'm sure, as I know, they all have a website that they probably should have mentioned earlier.